What's up, everybody? Destroyer here, and welcome back to another cast of the Rise of Witch King Patch 2.2 version 7. Today we have another 1v1 match from the September 2017 1v1 tournament. So, this is game 3 between Haku as Goblins and MayShadowF as Isengard. So, of course, I casted game 2 of this as well. And if you haven't seen that, you could see that beforehand. Doesn't really matter, I'm not doing it in order or anything, but this, of course, is game 3, showing that all three are both players won a game each. So, the deciding match is this one. And hopefully it's a good match. Alright, we have Goblin Cave going on for Haku. He's getting some Goblin Warriors immediately. And we have a Wildman, a clan standing rather, going down for MayShadow, which is pretty standard stuff. If your opponent's going Goblins, of course you're going to go Wildman, just because it makes sense. Your spam needs to keep up with their spam, or else you're going to fall behind. If you go Uruks, you're really going to suffer. You'll have one battalion of strong units that just won't be able to catch 30 battalions running around your base. So not particularly useful most of the time in this matchup. It's not unfeasible, of course, but Wildman's a much cheaper, much better, efficient way to do things. Alright, and he comes. First battalion's on the way, second battalion's definitely building. He's sitting on 4 tunnels at the moment. Looks like he's going to throw down spider pits. Yes, indeed, throwing down a spider pit fairly quickly. Either spiderlings or spider riders out in line quick. There's the first battalion Wildman from MayShadow. Of course, he's expanding as you do. Where's this little builder? There he is. Just going up north. So he's sitting on 3 furnaces at the moment. I'm throwing down another clan setting. Okay. I almost called it a tavern. I have to fight the urge to call these taverns because it would be me too, obviously. Hooray for reusing models. I like the Age of the Ring clan setting. It's pretty cool. Much more fitting for a clan setting instead of just a rehash of a tavern that clearly looks like a sea building full of salty seamen. It works, but I mean, it looks like a doesn't look like a Wildman town building, does it? Anyway, I'm way off topic. Alright, looks like battalion Wildman had been finished off there. With this Goblin Warrior, maybe 2 of them. I don't think one Goblin Warrior would outclass a Wildman, so probably not just one. Alright, he's going Lings as his next units. So Lings and Goblin Warriors and Goblin Archers. Not a bad combo, especially against Wildman. All of them are proficiently good against these units. Goblin Warriors don't stand a chance 1v1, but they do a good amount of damage against them because of the Poison Blades, of course. Generally just a good amount of damage against most things. So makes Goblin Warriors so dangerous, the Poison Blades. Poison Blades and the mass number of them. Of course, if these Wildmen just keep running, they're just going to get cut down. But because he's leading the enemy away from his base and then back into his base. But really, you can't really outrun Goblins very easily. Especially with Spiderlings. Fastest unit in the game, you're not going to be outrunning those anytime soon. That's why they're a good counter to Cav, because they can catch them. And they do alright damage to them as well. It even says so in the tooltip. Hey, look at that. Strong versus swordsmen and cavalry. Not necessarily the case for every patch, I would expect. This is mainly a 2.02 thing, I would assume. I think they're decent in 1.09 against Cav, but not particularly like made to counter them. The Lings and the Goblins are potentially going to bring these down. These have leveled up. That's always handy. So you can just retreat, heal up, and come back with a full battalion of Spiderlings. Looks like he's actually going to clean them up nicely. Very nice. A small victory, but a victory nonetheless. Haku's definitely got a bigger force on the field at the moment, but of course that doesn't mean much. Having more Goblins on the field than having a few Wildmen on the field doesn't mean much, because of course Wildmen are much more, not much more, they're 50 more actually, if you think about it. Only 50 more resources. But if you have an army of these, it's probably scarier than an army of Goblin Warriors. But they don't get a horde bonus like the Goblins do, so maybe not. What was the horde bonus anyway? 25% damage. You got there in 100 or more. Which isn't too hard to do. But MayShadow's just got a lot of Wildmen. And he's transitioning into some Warg Riders, it looks like. It'll be his next unit choice. It's a good choice, definitely. If he gets a couple of times of Warg Riders, they should do pretty well, as long as he keeps away from the Spiderlings. I think Warg Riders can kill Spiderlings if they turn around and fight them, though, especially with Howl. You can kill them off before you get butchered, I think. I'm sure you take a lot of damage. Spiderlings can also, of course, be equipped with poison sacks, which is pretty nice. It's very cheap. It's like 100 resources. It's not a whole lot. But it does give them poison, which is pretty useful. I definitely recommend it if you can afford it. And as goblins, you generally can. Alright, so MayShadow's going for Freebind, which is definitely going to help him out here. Goblin Warriors are going to be super weak. If attack and defense is lowered, and they're just going to get slaughtered by Wildmen. So we got Haku going for, of course, the Tan Land. And we have Freebind. This is starting for MayShadow. Both players are sitting at the same amount of farms at the moment, it seems. Both have a 500 command point cap. And it's too early for any farms to really level up on. Maybe not. This tunnel's very close. Some tunnels are closer than others. I don't actually know what affects tunnel leveling up. I think it's just the amount of money it generates, so I guess the... yeah, that would be it, actually. It's not rocket science, is it? And there is the Warg Riders entering the fray. Very nice. He's probably going to want to try and kill these Spiderlings, though. But he's getting some nice tramples off of these Goblin Warriors. And he's doing the damage he needs to do. Haku's going to keep sending these Spiderlings after them. This is a mistake. They're not going to get a whole lot done by themselves. We're going to overpower those, no problem. We'll take, of course, a bit of poison damage and what have you. Things can be quite nasty, but they are also very easy to deal with if you know what you're doing. You're not gonna overpower an enemy army with wings, generally speaking. Not always. They're good for harassment, though, and they're good for countering cav and getting to throw in your army as a kind of a support unit, I guess. Definitely not tanky enough to be frontline. We got some Spider Riders up for Haku. So he's going to try and counter Warg Riders with Spider Riders, it looks like. I think the Spider Riders should win out there. Not only do they on Tan Land, but the Howl has already been used by the Warg Riders. Easily slaughtered those off. I'd actually be interested to see who wins in a 1v1, a Warg Rider or a Spider Rider. Without a Howl and without a buff. I would think the Spider Riders, probably. Without a Howl. But of course Howl is an ability you come with, so it's not unheard of to have. So we got more Warg Riders on the way. We have, of course, Pick going down for MayShadow. He's also getting more Wildmen. He'll probably get crossbows out of there, or pikes. Probably pikes, actually, now I think about it. And Haku has a pretty big army at the moment. MayShadow's going to pull back. So he's already got some pikes in the field, which is definitely helpful. Regroup with some more Wildmen, and he's going to turn around and push here. There's the Freebind Spider Riders are going in. He managed to run through the majority of things without actually touching the units there. Sometimes Porcupine is not a good idea because, of course, you're not really moving. That's the problem. If he hits you, it's great. But if he does that and micros around you, not so good. So that still went good for MayShadow, definitely. I'd say he got the better of that engagement, even if he lost a lot of Wildmen. Not the end of the world, of course. Goblin archers just chilling back here. I should, of course, moving Freebind back here to try and debuff them, so they can't kill the farms quickly. And take more arrow damage from the fortress tower. While MayShadow's going on the offensive, he's going to get this builder for sure. Haku has lost a builder indeed. Haku's sitting on 3 caves. He's also got, of course, the upgrade spider pits. Trying to get some lumber mills in there. And he's throwing down another goblin cave. I think maybe a fissure was a better choice if I was him. 1 battalion of half trolls can go a long way against some ward riders. They can't be trampled, of course, and you can mix them into your army. It's a bit of a deterrent. But maybe not. So he's just going to try to outspam MayShadow with what he has and get some Spider Rider support as bows. Which is not bad. Spider Riders and bow mode are pretty good, and you can also now auto-cast the poison arrows, or just use it manually, of course, if you want. Which is a new feature for 2.2 version 7, added the poison arrows to the Spider Riders. So I mean, if there are archers, Goblin archers have poison arrows, why wouldn't there Spider Riders? It makes sense. It's not horribly OP or anything. It's pretty nice. It's a nice little addition. Goblins are a very much poison-heavy faction, aren't they? They have a lot of poison things. Spiders, poison stings from scorpions and spiders. Just the blades from just the basic archers and warriors, and then the archers there. It's a lot. It's good though. I like to a degree when teams have themes, kind of like Angmar's Ice. I like the ice as a theme. I don't like how it plays in the game though. I don't like the weakness to ice kind of thing. I wish it was just the same as fire, then it would be balanced. But sadly, it's not. It's a cool theme though. Was that the word theme enough? I don't think so. Theme. I'm gonna take a drink. Almost tiring. Mentally, really. Alright. Looks like we get some harassment here. Spiderling harassment. Typical. MayShadow's on the case though. Pikemen are very good against spiderlings, if you weren't aware. That's definitely the right counter. Pikemen or archers do pretty well against spiderlings. So it's a good counter to shut them down. It's just a matter of catching them, really. Alright, Haku has a pretty big army chasing down what MayShadow sent into his base here. Lots of Spider Riders in bow mode there. That's why Spider Riders are so good. I mean, they're good cav. They're very mobile. They move around like very nimbly. Turn on a weird dime. But they can also go into bow mode like Rohirrim can, which makes them really good. And superior to a lot of other cav. Now all the dangerous stuff is gone. You can just trample through. No problem. And that is the beauty of the Spider Rider. In its nature. Its fullest form. MayShadow's pulling another attack in. I think he's going too heavy on the Wildman though, and not enough legs. He's being ruined by these Spider Riders. Haku's definitely taking control here with the amount of Spider Riders he's got. It's making things difficult for MayShadow. And Haku also has himself Scavenger, which is definitely helping his economy. Every kill he gets is getting him 3 to 4 resources. It's pretty nice, considering how many Wildmen he's slaughtering. MayShadow's got Summoned Wildmen, of course. The War Chant and Creepine, 3 power points, 4 pounds. 409, 750 right now. Haku's at 11 power points after getting Scavenger, and Tainland 761 at 875. So Haku is in the lead, I would say. But MayShadow is still in there. He's also going ham on lumber mills, which is definitely a good way to get your economy going for Isengard. Another Urk pit down, more pikes on the way, more Wildmen undoubtedly as well. I think his reliance on Wildmen maybe is undoing. I guess they're good to help fill out your armies. Pikes are really, look at these things, they can damage like bosses. But of course they are just being picked off because they have no way to fight back. And that is the problem he faces, is it not? A lot of Goblin Archers there as well. Oh shit. He just needs a lot of Cav and Ballista maybe or something, I don't know. Can he counter this? I'm not so sure. The thing about this army is though, it's not going to be taking MayShadow's base much. I guess the Spider Riders can switch into Spear mode and do some damage. Of course, this Goblin Archers without fire arrows not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. If they do some, it's like shooting a guy with body armor with a BB gun until he dies. Maybe an airsoft gun would be more appropriate. A BB can kill you, I suppose. Enough of them to hit you. Maybe. Axors are a good call though. They're a cheap, effective range unit. If we're fighting back against Goblin Archers, although we do have darkness covering the field, of course, for Haku, which is pretty dangerous for MayShadow. The amount of colors coming out here. It's like a neon 80s neon green here. Pink, green, and orange. I like it. MayShadow's been pushed into his base here. It's not looking good. I don't know how I would come back from this. I would be so whittled down mentally by all these spider raiders. And the Goblin Archers with the fire, and the darkness is definitely doing some damage. Luckily, even with darkness, their health is still garbage. And they drop like a sack of potatoes. But we have fire arrows for Haku. Definitely a good choice. Now he can start using his fire arrows, of course, to destroy buildings and just do more damage in general to units. MayShadow's keeping the spam up, keeping his macro up, sending waves and waves at enemies at the spider raiders and archer combo, slowly whittling them down to nothing. But of course, as goblins, you can just make a whole new army pretty easily. So it's only a matter of time, I think, before MayShadow is overwhelmed here, perhaps. But maybe not. Who knows? Spiders are going to be incredibly more dangerous now because of the fire arrows as well. So now you can shoot your buildings from a distance and do it quickly. Warguarders being sent out to try and dispatch some of the spider riders. Maybe Sharky would be good against these? I don't know. MayShadow's good enough to get himself the field of fires. 70% resources harvesting trees. That might get him back in the game. I mean, if you can just get enough units to outspam his opponent. Of course, he can have 382,000. MayShadow can only have 434 of 650 at the moment. That's a lot of troops. That's a big difference. And none of them are in the form of Burrows expansions, so... I mean, Haku does have complete map control at the moment, pretty much. It is possible that he could still make a comeback, MayShadow. It's looking bleak, I'd say. Unless Haku slipped a bit. It does look like he stopped producing units for a while, maybe. MayShadow's now pushing him back. And I do think an addition of fissure units might be good with Haku's forces. I mean, add in some half-pro marauders. They're good against these pikes. They can't be trampled by Rogue Riders. They're a pretty solid unit. But none of those. Some giants would be good as well. But none of that has happened yet. Oh, he doesn't have the money. He does have scavenger and map control. Also, we haven't seen any heroes from Haku as well, which is a bit strange. I don't know why he's avoiding getting heroes. I can understand why MayShadow's got heroes yet. He's very much trying to keep up troops production with his enemy, so makes sense. Hero isn't going to benefit him too much. But if you can level up alerts, the leadership would definitely help. It always does. Looks like MayShadow's starting to turn this around. Oh, he does have a Sharku. Okay, there you go. I don't know when he got Sharku, but he's level 1. It's couldn't been too long ago. Now he's got a couple wargs and some Sharku action going on, which is great for cleaning up some of these enemy farms. And slowly, Haku's starting to lose map control. As MayShadow's pushing out in the north, pushing out in the southwest as well. And he's also attacking in the center. Haku's base, keeping him occupied on all fronts. It's definitely what you want to do. Fortunately, the Warg Riders are up against an army of Spider Riders in bow mode. Luckily for him, they don't do a ton of damage. He doesn't even have upgrades. Sharku and War Riders are really nice now. Something you didn't really see in version 6 with Sharku or War Riders much. Now that they're actually viable, it's nice to see them used. They're more along the lines of getting some Rohirrim and some Eomer action. They're actually really nice. So that's very good, very good. Very good they got buffed, because holy shit. I hear Wildman summon, that's probably in MayShadow's base. Sounds like it was at least. Or from MayShadow somewhere. There they are. He summoned him in to help his front line troops in the north. It's a very clogged spot. Sharky's level 3 now. He's definitely a good choice for countering this amount of Spider Raiders. But you can't do it alone though. We'll definitely need more Warg support. Looks like MayShadow's also going for upgrades. His lumber mills are starting to level up as well. This is definitely giving him a lot of money. So I think MayShadow might be on the up, but we'll see. Haku's still got more map control and more in general. Haku's also about to get a 25-point power, which is pretty powerful. Also, Darkness is about back, and he's actually command point capped himself, so he's not doing bad by any means. MayShadow's up to 675 and 900 though, which is not bad. That's a respectable amount, I'd say. So that's pretty good. And of course he's at 10 power points at the beginning of 15. So he's still got a ways to go before he can get a 25-point power, but he'll get there eventually. That's right. There's the Darkness casted by Goblins. Once again. Looks like he should be able to beat Haku's army here in the north though. Which is just the Warg Riders there. Warg Riders are making a huge difference against these Goblin hordes. They really do, especially with Sharku's leadership. You power through them. It works pretty nicely. This, on the other hand, is a bit difficult to deal with. I think some Ballista would be pretty good against those. It's a small, compact battalion. If he keeps them in range mode, well, Ballista would do a lot of damage because they now have Splash, which puts them on par with other catapults that do splash damage as well. They have Firestones and upgraded and hit. Ballista are just much better than they used to be. Thank the gods for that. If you use them correctly, they can be quite good. Great way to counter Noldors, actually, I find. Do a pretty decent amount of damage to Noldors. It's just a matter of having not Noldor shoot you back, I suppose, because they counter siege pretty well. Now. May's in the back of Haku's base. Passing him there. Looks like Haku is pushing over to defend over on this side as well. Another army from May is coming through the center. And he's continuing to keep his macro up for the most part. He's also getting his siege works leveled up so he can get fire arrows. And of course he can go for Swords, Blades, and heavy armor. Looks like he's already got the heavy armor upgrade. Should be pretty useful. Oh, and there's the Balrog summon. Very nice. I love a good Balrog. He always makes an entrance. Unfortunately, a terrible cast of it. He missed entirely the army he was going for. And that's not ideal. Also, he had to summon it in the center of the thing. Balrog can only fly as far as he can see, I believe, or something. He has a range, and of course the cooldown on wings has been increased, so you can't just summon him in your base and fly to the enemy base. It would actually take majority of his duration to do that. He still managed to make it over here at least and damage some buildings. There's more than enough time to do a hell of a lot of damage to MayShadow's base. MayShadow, of course, does not want to happen. Just really just not bother attacking him. Does he get power points for attacking Balrog over here? I'd imagine he counts as a summon. Just like any summon unit, you don't get power points for attacking it. Still a lot of important buildings from MayShadow going down. He's immediately rebuilding his clan settings though. That's one of them. One One of his level 3 farms did go down, which is not ideal for him, of course. If he can take any more of those down, that would be good for him. The level 3 farms are pretty crucial, especially late game. You want to keep those alive. It's hard to do, of course, once big powers come out. The big boys come to play. While he's microing his Balrog, he is on the offensive. MayShadow, that is, of course. So Haku's going to have to defend and micro Balrog around at the same time. Looks like he's finally got some giants on the field. I think that was far overdue. He had MayShadow in his base at one point. He could have definitely used that giant support earlier. At least they're here. Might have been too early for him, though, at that point. And Spider Eyes are being cleaned up by Haku and his crew. Very nice. The of course, crew taking a lot of damage. They are level 2, though, so they will regen. At the end of the world for him. And May has lived through a Balrog. He's replenished pretty much all his buildings that he's lost. 665 of 1,000. He's at 8 power points. Looks like he went for industry. I think instead of getting a 25, looks like 15 power points are there for Haku. So he can go for whatever's next on his tree list. I have no idea. I want to have a switch up power tree. I don't remember what it is. I think darkness is on the left side. Oh my god. Can't quite remember. I know it was suggested though to balance it out a little bit. Because everyone was always going for the left side power tree. So it's just the best one to do. You go scavenger and then release a Balrog. Why would you not? That's why darkness was put into Balrog's path pretty much. Instead of worm or watcher or whatever it was. Being on the left. Mountain Giants, if they hit though, they're going to do pretty good damage. Of course, all the enemies are moving, that would be particularly as well. Mountain Giants, of course, can use Stomp ability when you get too close. It's pretty nice to use, I find. You can, of course, just continue throwing rocks at them, but I think Stomp is better when you're surrounded by enemies. So giants can walk over smaller enemies, I'm sure. Not over War Critters, it seems. Ooh, that Warder's having a bad day. What's going on over here? Madness, that's what. MayShadow summoning some Wildmen behind his upgraded Uruks. Haku is having to deal with that fully. MayShadow's also bringing forth a lot of spam. He's just keeping the macro going. And that will win you games. Just out-spamming your opponents is a thing. If he can keep his macro higher than his opponents, he will, of course, be victorious, usually. Not always, of course. By any means. You do have to micro your stuff as well. You just leave your Spider Riders off to go to Pikesman. You're probably going to regret it. I think micro is more important early game, I find. Late game is more of a macro scenario where you just have to have a lot of units. But ideally you want to have a lot more units during most of the game. Anyway. These rocks are hitting hard. Unfortunately, Isen doesn't have any darkness counter. Freezing rain as of now. Could be getting I don't know. He doesn't have alerts on the field though. Could be good, except one of the giants has fallen. Haku and the War Guard are trying to bring down the mountain giants. Seems to be kind of working. He's wailing away with his little knife. Down goes the next giants. Giants aren't cheap. They're 1,000 apiece, and of course they take time to make. But he is pumping them out. You can, of course, increase the production speed of that if you get the what's it called? Untamed Allegiance. You can cast it on a monster producing building like the Fissure, and you'll increase it by 50% for a limited time, which is pretty cool. In addition to, of course, capturing layers. The whole reason that power was changed, because of that, just like this, there's no creeps really. What's the use of the power after the creeps are dead? Exactly. That's why it has a secondary use, which is pretty cool. I like useless things having a secondary use. Actually makes them have a use in the form of that. necessarily things that they necessarily need to change. Getting one, just because, not always a good thing, but MayShadow is definitely bringing the pain. Look at this. I think a comeback is in full swing, and I think he might be poised to take the victory if he keeps it up. I feel like Haku is failing to keep up with MayShadow at this point, and he's Goblins. It's being outspammed by Isen. Once they get to the ports, it's definitely over. There is the freezing rain. That's going to make things difficult for the Goblins for sure. Haku's, all of his units are now getting debuffed, which is pretty bad for him. A little sneeze will come by and a Goblin warrior will die, which is never ideal. I think Sharku and the Warguys have been instrumental in taking down the Giants. Sharku's level 9. Pretty huge. And look at the side of MayShadow's base. It's absolutely batshit insane. So many lumber mills and stuff. There you go. Haku has been defeated. He's called the GG, I would assume. And MayShadow is victorious. What a comeback. Very nice. Haku had that about mid-game, I'd say. But he failed to finish and didn't keep up the pressure, I guess. And MayShadow made a comeback. Pretty nice. It just goes to show you can actually... miracles do happen. I don't know. Anyway, hope that you guys enjoyed that cast, and I'll see you guys in the next cast of the Rise of the Witch King Patch 2.2 version 7. See you all next time.